Bombs away. The Cardinals do some yard work to take care of business against the Astros on Thursday. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, a former national radio sports anchor. Born and raised in St. Louis, lifetime Cardinals fan. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you to our everydayers who continue to be here with us. And, if you are new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Happy to have you here. Happy to see you enjoying what is the beginning of the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals baseball season. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation, giving you all the info about the birds on the bat. I took a drink right before this. So okay, let me just get this started right now. Today's show, we're going to do Cardinal Confessions. It's been a bit since I opened up some of the emails and comments. So we're going to share those with you guys here in a little bit. We got to talk about the game, obviously, on Thursday as well. Another home game at the friendly confines of Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Welcomed in a split squad version of the Houston Astros on Thursday. But I just took a drink right before this because I'd been eating popcorn all night. Just saw the new Scream movie. Scream 7 came out and went and saw that. I know it's hard to see on the YouTube here, but I got the Ghostface shirt on right now. Not bad. It was good to see Nev Campbell back. Some very cool death scenes, some gory stuff going on there, which is obviously a lot of fun. Nothing is ever going to top the original one, but you go into these movies thinking that, hey, I'm just here to have a good time, and you'll have a good time. Okay, don't take it all so seriously. Don't look at how Ghostface becomes incredibly strong out of nowhere. Don't pay attention to that stuff. It's popcorn horror. Have a good time with it. Don't take it seriously, and you'll enjoy it. All right, on to baseball. But I just wanted to explain that, like, why I was choking here at the beginning of the podcast. All right, on to the baseball side of stuff. On paper, this was actually, I do want to show you guys this. Here is the wife at the movie tonight. Yep, wore the Ghostface mask. Look at her. Stud. Okay, now we can talk baseball. Very few familiar names in the Houston lineup on Thursday. So on paper, this game very much favored the Cardinals. Cardinals side of things, the majority of the starters are guys that you expect to see on day one in St. Louis against the Tampa Bay Rays. Leading off, you had Mason Wynn. Alec Burleson was batting second. Ivan Herrera made his spring debut. Good to see him back in the lineup. Hitting third was the DH, but Ali did confirm that he is going to catch this weekend. I think Sunday is the day that they have targeted for that. So that's good news as far as like the health of Ivan Herrera. Batting cleanup, you had Jordan Walker, fifth Thomas Ujasi, who was in left field today. Batting sixth was your catcher, Yohel Pozo. Victor Scott was seventh. Cesar Prieto was eighth and playing third. And then Brian Torres was batting ninth at second base. And on the mound, you have what we think is going to be the opening day starter in Matthew Liberatore. So offensively, hasn't been that great for this spring for the Cardinals. It just hasn't. We've had a couple of highlights here and there. But as far as the guys that, are going to be on the major league roster, it's been a little frigid of a start for the Bats there in Florida. Only 2 runs in game 1. Game 2, they win 6-5 against Houston. But it was Yohel Pozo and Cesar Prieto driving in 4 of those runs. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but they're not the big names that you expect to carry the offense this year. Game 3, they win 5-4 over Miami, but 3 of those came in the bottom of the 9th inning with the minor league guys taking the at-bats. Game 4, they lose 6-1. But then on Wednesday, the Cardinals put up 6 on the Mets, highlighted by that 3-run blast by starting third baseman Nolan Gorman. And he did it, and it wasn't off some scrub. It was off one of the Mets' fine young pitchers, Jonah Tong. So it wasn't like, he hit it off of some dude that's, going to be bagging groceries in a few weeks. No, Jonah Tong is somebody that the Mets are very much behind. And as you know, the lineup, it flips every game at this point of spring. So Thursday's game featured a lot of guys kind of struggling so far. But today was a better day for a few of them as they combined to score 9 runs on 11 hits, which included 4 home runs. And 3 of them were by guys who were in the big leagues last year for the Cardinals. So let's get to our 3 stars of the game. My number 1 star, I'm going to go with Biscuits. Let's go with Alec Burleson. He gets my number 1 star. Scorched the ball twice in this game. First time up, he roped one at 107.6 miles per hour off the bat, traveled 391 feet. Sounds like it would be a home run, right? But problem was, hit it to the wrong part of the field. Deepest part of the ballpark in center field, ends up just being an out. So tough luck there. Second time up, he walks on 4 straight pitches, but got erased on an Ivan Herrera double play ball. And his third time up was in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1, Cardinals are down 2-1. Brian Torres hit a 1-out single. Mason Wind ends up walking, which brought up Burley. And after he fell behind 0-2, he was kind of gifted a fastball up in the zone. All right. Probably didn't want to throw it there. And Burley made him remember that you probably shouldn't throw it there because he walloped it for a 3-run shot over the right field wall, 109 miles per hour off the bat. Yeah, that's hard. That's hit pretty hard. That gave the Cardinals a 4-2 lead, which they would eventually surrender later on. But still, 3 excellent at-bats for the Cardinals Silver Slugger winner from a year ago. It's his first hit of the spring, first home run, obviously, as well. A lot of people are questioning whether, this is kind of the conversation. I don't want to say questioning, but the conversation surrounding Alec Burleson is he overrated after he won the Silver Slugger last year? People outside of St. Louis probably don't know a whole lot about Alec Burleson. They just probably don't. And they say, what? Silver Slugger? What? Who? What? How? How did that happen? Or are you part of the camp that says, maybe Burley's a little bit underrated because people don't know him since his numbers have been solid for 2 straight years. And now he's finally got a position to call home over at first base. 2024 was a very good year for Alec Burleson. 2025, though, the batting average, the OBP, the slug, and the OPS, they were all up. They were all up. The power numbers, he fell shorty at 21 and 24, and then 18 last year in 2025 as far as home runs go. He also played in less games and had less at-bats. So maybe he would have gotten up to those numbers. Not like he was way off, like he was right there on pace. But a lot of the numbers that you pay attention to, they went up for 2025. And for him to get the Silver Slugger award in that utility role, it says something about what Alec Burleson is. So some people want to know if he's already peaked. Is this the best he's ever going to be? Maybe, but it's pretty good when you're a Silver Slugger winner. I'll take this for the next 5 years if that's what Alec Burleson wants to be. Some people fear that maybe he's going to regress in 2026. We're going to find out. We're going to find out because he's entrenched at first base and is one of the top 5 hitters in this batting order for sure. I would assume he's going to be top 3 most of the time, but you never know. Alec could move some things around and maybe he drops to 5 at some point. I don't know. We'll see how the season goes, but he's going to be a big part of whatever happens for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2026. I've got 2 other stars to get to. We'll talk about those guys coming up next here on Locked On Cardinals. MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, and you're starting to see, more of the regulars getting more playing time at spring training, fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. It's all what makes opening day so much fun. So whether it's a breakout rookie like a J.J. Weatherholt or a division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark to watch it all. The only problem is getting tickets can feel kind of like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. Who needs it? That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences, and you do it in just a few taps. Simple to use. Game Time guarantee means you're going to get 100% authentic tickets. Nobody's going to pull a fast one on you. And they're going to get delivered on time. You're going to get them at the best price. And the best part is, fees are included in the price that you see. What you see is what you pay, period. You can see the panoramic view of the seats before you buy. You got zone deals, which help you out. Follow your favorite team like the Cardinals. Get alerts when new deals drop. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees. Just great seats and minutes. That's what makes it so easy to just decide last minute to hit a game. You want to do it that way? You can do it with Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create your account. Use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Now the baseball is back. Lock in by joining the Everydayer Club if you haven't already, which gets you ad-free episodes. You'll get access to our group chat on Discord for the next week or so. They're also giving you the code SPRING, SPRING, for a free month. So go to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com where you can tap that link in the show notes to get more information. But don't forget that code. Second star of the game. Let's flip it around. Let's go from offense. Let's go to the other side of the equation and go with Matthew Liberatore, who in his second start of the spring was able to go 3 innings, allowed 1 run, 2 hits. He struck out 3. Nothing bad to see there, right? The first hit he gave up was in the first inning, second hitter of the game, actually, and he got ahead of him 0-2, and you hate to lose somebody in this situation, but it's what happened. He went 0-2, didn't get him to bite on a couple of off-speed pitches, went with the slider on pitch 5. That one ended up going right down Broadway, right down the middle, and clearly missed his spot. You're not trying to throw a slider to go right over the heart of the plate. So that was where the base hit came into play. Had an easy second inning, but in the third, he commits the Cardinal sin. Let's say it together. Oh, bad. Don't walk the leadoff hitter. Because guess what? Comes around to score on a double by Bryce Matthews. And I'll say it until I am blue in the face. Leadoff walks are the devil and almost always seem to come around and score in some way, shape, or form. And it happened again, that inning to Libby. So leadoff walks, big no-no. But outside of that, Libby, to me, looked pretty darn strong again. And in 5 innings so far this spring, he's allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. He's got 7 punch-outs and that 1 walk that he had on Thursday. Those 7 Ks, by the way, currently tied for the league lead among all spring training pitchers so far. Now, you don't have to get all crazy and excited about it, but he is, He's thrown 5 innings, which is pretty close to the top amount of innings that anybody's thrown. But this is all good. It's certainly a positive that he's getting the strikeouts. He was hitting a steady 95 with the fastball on Thursday. Also got a chance to throw the splitter that he's been working on this offseason. According to Derek Gould, he threw 4 of them, saying that 3 of the 4 splitters were relatively uncompetitive. That's not Derek Gould talking. It's Libby talking about the splitters. One of these led to a whiff, which Libby said was nice to see. So a lot of good things for Libby. It's a work of progress when it comes to the split finger fastball. It's not an easy one to get the feel for. So, but good stuff for Matthew Liberatore. And then my number 3 star of the game. I'm actually don't get worked up about it, but I'm gonna call it a tie because I want to give props to both Yohel Pozo and Jimmy Crooks for going yard in this game. 2 of the Cardinals backstops both got action today. Pozo was starting behind the dish. Crooks came in as a pinch hitter in that DH spot for Ivan Herrera, was able to come on in the 5th inning. Now, Pozo struck first in this particular game. The slim down Yohel Pozo, I should say. What was described as, because the game wasn't on TV, so you have to listen to the broadcast on KMOX, which is fine. The word varmint was thrown around a lot today by Claiborne and company, but the home run by Pozo described as a sky-high towering home run. Was able to hit a curveball, which was low in the zone, and just put it into the wind and got it out. Did that in the bottom of the 4th inning, tied the game up at 1 game apiece. The long fly was his first of the spring. Ended up lining out to right field in another at-bat, grounded into a double play in his other 2 at-bats. So the line out, obviously, you hit the ball hard. You got to be happy about that. Double play, don't like that. But the home run, there you go. You like to see that. And then our guy Jimmy Crooks got 2 at-bats. He ended up lining out to left field in the 5th inning in his first at-bat. But in the 7th, his big fly was the one that blew the game open with the 2-run dinger to left center. 105.8 off the bat, 394 feet. That made it an 8-4 Cardinals lead at the time. They would go on to win this one by a score of 9-4. One of the big debates this spring is what exactly are the Cardinals going to do with all of these quality catchers that they possess at this time. Ivan Herrera still wants to catch. They're gonna give him a chance to see what he can do. He's coming off of the elbow cleanup. Arguably the most dangerous hitter, at least right-handed hitter in the lineup. I would say him and Burley are your top two. So do you need him behind the plate? Debatable. Pedro Pajes seems like a solid major league backup. He's got the trust of the coaching staff. Pitchers seem to like him a lot. You got Jimmy Crooks, who's one of your top 30 prospects, top 10. I think he's like number 9 or something like that. Does a bit of both. Like, is pretty good, like all around. Solid hitter in his career in the minors with a 285 average. OPS of 823 in almost 1,400 plate appearances. Yeah, you're going to take that. He's also a very good defensive catcher. Has a very good arm and solid defensive guy. Yohel Pozo, we know he's a fan favorite. Great guy. Working in at catcher, also some first base so far this spring. And, he was very good off the bench last season, okay? He caught everybody by surprise at being able to contribute and produce the way he did. And then behind these guys, you've got Leo Bernal, you've got Raniel Rodriguez, who are both top 100 prospects. So the catching situation for the Cardinals, very, very deep right now. But because of the unknown of Ivan Herrera and what his arm's going to be like early on this season, I think that's part of the reason why you didn't see a move with any of these catchers, why none of them got traded in the offseason, because they just really weren't totally sure. So they're going to let this thing play out. I've argued that Herrera should start looking at playing other positions. They used him a little bit in left last year. I would love to see him get some work at first base. I'm fine with him being the main DH on this team as well. I don't need a guy who's going to be as important as he is offensively to take the abuse that most catchers take. They get beat up back there. Have you tried doing squats for 9 innings? Have you tried throwing the ball back every time the pitcher throws it in? A pitcher will throw 90 to 100, like if that's a really good game for a starter. Who's throwing the ball back to him the 90 and 100 times too? Is your catcher. It's a lot of wear and tear, blocking baseballs, chance of getting hit. We saw what happened to Contreras with the arm getting fractured. The backswings get guys in the head. There's just so many more chances to get hurt back there. And you don't need him to be your catcher. He doesn't have to be your catcher. If you can find other places for him, whether it's DH, first, left field, whatever you want to do. The argument is that, if you can get that level of offense from your catcher, who is also a good catcher from behind the plate and throwing guys out, then you're ahead of most teams. You got a leg up on him. He's coming back from the elbow cleanup. He's going to catch this weekend. Sunday is the date. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know how you keep Crooks down again. Are you going to carry 3 catchers? Are you going to carry 4? Are you going to go Herrera, Pozo, Pajes, and Jimmy Crooks? Are these all going to be up on the roster? Doesn't seem like that would make a whole lot of sense. But I don't know how you can keep Crooks down again. And if he's going to be up on the team, he's got to play. They're not going to ride the bench. You're not going to have him platoon with Herrera, Pajes, and Pozo. And the one thing that Crooks has going for him that is different from those other guys is that he's left-handed slugger. And the majority of pitchers in Major League Baseball are right-handed. So in theory, if they did go matchup-wise, he should get the bulk of the starts anyway. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out this spring and what they decide to do. Some other notes from the game. Mason Wynn walks twice, still hitless, though, this spring. Ivan Herrera, 0 for 2 in his first plate appearances. Jordan Walker was 0 for 3, hitting just 125 so far. Victor Scott got his first base hit of the spring, but also made an error in center field when he overran a ball. The Cardinals pitching staff combined to walk 4 hitters, which you don't love, but they also struck out 11. Solid numbers there. Jared Schuster, the lefty, got the win, but also got the blown save after he allowed the tying run to score in the top of the 7th inning before the Cardinals took it back and put a 4 spot up in the bottom half. Gerson Moreno struck out the side in the 9th inning. Hello there. John Gazdar was 2 for 2 with a solo home run, his first of the spring. Brian Torres also 2 for 2 with a run scored. But the offense outshines the pitching staff in this particular one. 15 runs in their last 2 games for them, which is great to see. But even after, kind of lighting it up the last 2 games, Cardinals are still just hitting .214 overall, which is 26th in the league this spring. Again, you're not going to panic over anything like that. No need to freak out. I am just relaying the stats to you that they are only hitting .214 as a team so far in spring training, but they're also 4-2. So you make sense of it. Create conversation, right? And honestly, who cares about the win-loss record? Because we've seen that before where the Cardinals are hey, we got all the wins in the spring, and then we go out and suck in the regular season. So doesn't really matter all that much. But we'd love to see better numbers. Anyway, Quinn Matthews, scheduled to be the starter on Friday against the Mets. First pitch going to be at 12:05 St. Louis time. Once again, not televised. That sucks. But what doesn't suck is your comments, suggestions, all of that jazz. Cardinal Confessions coming up next. What are fans saying about what they've seen so far from the St. Louis Cardinals at spring training? This is Locked On Cardinals. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, in the position you need to fill still sitting wide open. No bueno. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. What skills do you need? What experience? The location? All of it available so that you're not just hoping that the right candidate is going to stumble across your post. You're going to get the right people for that job. And a stat that says it all is right here. And the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you are hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. So go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show, Locked On Cardinals, by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Thank you again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. All right, here's where we kind of hand the mic over to you, to the listeners, and you get to air your grievances, your thoughts about the team. We call it Cardinal Confessions because we don't call you out by name. We're not going to point at you and go, what are you saying? That's not what this is about. It's just a chance to have your voice heard, and not trying to embarrass anybody or bash anybody. Just having a conversation. And I'm pleasantly surprised that the last few episodes, mostly positive stuff. And there are going to be the negative people in the chat and in the comments all the time. It's going to happen. And it's okay. It's all right to be down on the Cardinals if you want to be. You want to be mad at ownership, you can be mad at them. That's completely up to you. I understand it. I really do. But you have to admit there are some good things going on with the Cardinals as well. So it depends on how you want to look at it. So let's get a couple of these in before we wrap up. This one was basically on all things Cardinals. They just went through a whole gambit of stuff. Pointed out, talented pitching translate to close games. That's why I don't agree with 68 wins, which is like one of the projections that people were talking about. Says, in my opinion, Victor Scott will never learn to hit over bunting every game. I like his swing, even though the average isn't there yet. Victor worked very hard this offseason to try to get the swing squared away. Did get a base hit on Thursday. Swanson is your closer, hopefully. Sure, that's fine if that's the way you want to do it. Certainly earned a chance to be your closer last year, so I'm fine with that. Says, love the stats, JD. Allowed to be happy, back to the Cardinal way. JJ, I'm not sure what's happening there with the defense. I'm sure it's just timing and footwork. Ozzie and Colton Wong should help with that. Yeah, I mean, it's just a young guy who's at major league level infield for the first time in his career. And I'm sure there's some nerves, playing second base, not the most comfortable position for him. He came up as a shortstop. I'm not worried about J.J. Weatherholt and his defense. I'm really not. And I just pointed out that he has made a couple errors, but it's okay. Make them now. That way you're ready in the regular season. Also says tough call between Yadi and Albert for the Hall of Fame, but based on Yadi staying here and his commitment, I would vote for him. Sorry, Albert. Next time. For what it's worth, the poll on X at LO_Cardinals ended up with Yadi winning that poll with 51.3% of the vote to Albert's 43.5%. But we know there's no wrong answer there. And if you vote for Brian Jordan or George Hendrick, there's no wrong answer here. You can vote for all. They all deserve to be in my opinion. And it's just going to be, I think Yadi's going to win the vote. I just think that's what's going to happen. On Nolan Gorman, here's another one. I don't know why people keep scratching their heads with Gorman the last two seasons. The difference in those two seasons and his first is that he was getting more consistent at bats. He will strike out a lot. It's who he is. But if you give that man 600 plate appearances, he will get you around 30 bombs and 90 RBIs. It's not hard. Just play him and let him ride out the slumps instead of benching him. A player like him can't find any kind of rhythm, getting jerked around like he was the past couple of seasons. You can't find consistency without consistent plate appearances. Well said. And, it's part of the reasons why the Cardinals did what they did this offseason. They shipped off the veterans, not only to, get rid of payroll that they didn't want to spend with all of the changes going on with, the TV deals going down and lockout on the horizon. There's a lot of different reasons why you could see why they wanted to shed this payroll. But also, part of it is that they want to give other guys chances. Arenado was blocking Gorman over at third base. He made the shift over to second base, but you still have Brendan Donovan there. Brendan Donovan was blocking J.J. Weatherholt and Nolan Gorman over at second base. So with lanes opened up for both of those guys, they're not going to get a full season to do just what you said, which is consistent playing time, consistent at bats. Same with Jordan Walker in right field. They don't want to keep sending these dudes down and, having them on that Memphis shuttle. They don't want to do that. They want to see these guys sink or swim in the big leagues with consistent at-bats and playing time. That way they can have a better idea on what their futures are going to be with this organization. Do they want to even keep Gorman and Walker around if both of them have terrible seasons in 2026? That's a real question. JJ, obviously, they're fully on board with dealing with the warts that are going to happen with JJ offensively and defensively in his rookie year. I mean, to expect him to come out and just be a superstar in year one, probably not the smartest thing to do. Expect some struggles. Expect him to, take some time to get used to everything. It's okay. And then eventually when he gets to there, I'm sure he'll turn it around and when he gets comfortable. But, if he does come out of the gate and is hitting like 125 after the first couple of weeks, don't freak out. He's a rookie. Most rookies aren't very good when they first get to the big leagues. It takes a little bit of time. And when you have a season of, low expectations like the Cardinals do this year, one of the good things about that is that you don't feel the pressure of having to move off of a young player when they do struggle, which is kind of where Gorman and Walker were the last couple of seasons, because you were still in a window where management thought that they should be competing for a playoff spot. And when those guys would have their bad streaks for a couple of weeks, they're like, dude, we can't keep doing this. We're in the hunt here. And they weren't allowed to struggle and then get themselves out of it. This year, they're allowed to, because this is their team now. They're going to get a chance to build something together with the rest of this young core, with Gorman and Mason Wynn and JJ and Burley and Victor and Jordan Walker and Ivan Herrera and Jimmy Crooks and, Jose Fermin, Thomas Ujasi, Nathan Church. Eventually, you're going to have Joshua and Jesus Baez. We talked about Bernal, Rodriguez, Chase Davis, former first rounder, Blaze Jordan, who you got in the Steven Matz deal, Daniel Ortiz, who had a huge year in the minor leagues last year, and so forth. There's a lot of big names, and that's just your position players. We're not even talking about the pitching that they've acquired and assembled with, Liam Doyle and Senja and Quinn Matthews and Brandon Clark and Yohel Fajardo, Tekoa Roby when he's healthy. Like, it was such a bummer that his elbow went out last year because he was like on the cusp of coming to the big leagues. Tink Kent, Eshawn Henderson, Bryson Watts, Tanner Franklin, Braden Davis, my guy Luis Gastelum. Like, come on, man. Some of them are going to work. Some of them are not. Some of them won't pan out. Some of them will get traded for established stars, like the Cardinals used to. But on paper, my opinion, it's an exciting group of players that Chaim Bloom has pulled together here. And you pair that, all of this talent that you've acquired, and you pair that with, the upgrade in the facilities, more coaches, more instructors, like, the attention to detail is where it needs to be finally. And it hadn't been there in a very long time. But it's going to take time. As Chaim has said, that, there's no shortcuts here. They're not going to do that. They got to stay disciplined. They got to stay the course, stick to the plan that they have laid out. And if that means 70 wins in 2026 or less this year, then so be it. If it means that they can flourish in 2027 and beyond, they'll make that sacrifice. But if that's what they got to do, then so be it. I'm on board with it, and I think a lot of Cardinal fans are as well, that there's finally a vision. They've selected a path. They're going down it. They're not looking back. They're not iffy on what they're supposed to do. They chose, and I think they chose wisely. And I'm looking forward to watching it blossom. So thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow, pushing for 14,000 subscribers before opening day. We're getting there. We're at 13.8. If you have never missed an episode, check out that Everydayer Club. Built for you. Get Locked On Cardinals ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com to join the club. Don't forget to use the code SPRING, SPRING, which will get you a free month. For those of you on video, we're going to send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel and audio style. Make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. I'll be back on Saturday with another edition of Locked On Cardinals.